Welcome back to the Idle Talk minis. Today we've got a special mini. I'm here to catch you up on what I've been doing, what Idle Talk's been doing, why haven't there been any posts, if you've been asking yourself that. But before we get into this, I'm going to take us back to my roots. Yes, because on TikTok, before I used to do gym stuff, and sponsored by C4, I used to do food test tasting videos, and those were my favorite to do. That used to be my thing. Then it got too expensive to do that, and the 9 to 5 that I had at the time wasn't really paying that well to continue doing so. But we're in a new city, yes, temporarily, as I like to have this method of madness where I like to stack up my money, quit my job, and then do idle talk until I run out of money. And so I've run out of money, and we got to get some more of that money, and then do it all again. So before I get into it, I ordered a few things from this place called Yummy Taco. Okay, and I ordered some chicken dumplings, 3 steak taco, a grilled chicken appetizer, no entree, which comes like rice and beans and stuff, and a classic ginger ale. So let's get this started. Before we get into it, let me catch you up real quick. So my work week, yes, it's only been a week since I've been here. You should have seen the Spider-Verse episode. That was a banger. You should watch it if you haven't. The Jezebel two-parter. So part 1 was in the gym and part 2 was in her home. That was a classic episode. That hasn't gone up on YouTube yet, but Spider-Verse is on YouTube because I am in a college campus and this Wi-Fi is ass. And it's hard to connect my iPad to the internet and my phone. So I've been on fucking 5G for like a week pretty much. I would say a week and a half, but it's been like a week and 1 day. So I haven't been able to upload that. I might have to airdrop it to my Mac if my Mac is the only thing that's connected to the internet and upload it that way. But other technical issues aside, so my current role, yes, I have a job. I am kind of running half of like logistic responsibilities for this company where we have kids coming from all over the world to stay on this college campus and to experience New York as a whole. So I am in a different city in New York. I'm officially an NYC boy, I think, but not really. I hate that aspect of the job because going on the subway with a group of like 30 to 40 kids and 3 adults, 4 adults, 2 adults who are from other countries is the very difficult part because a lot of the nuances as we have as kind of residents of this city where like you mind your business, don't touch things, don't touch too many things, and just go about your day. They don't have that. They have that curiosity. So that's a big kind of challenge to teach them because there's weirdos in New York, and it does bring the weirdos out when people aren't necessarily avoiding them as much as being a little bit curious about them. So that's been a big difficult part of it. And we were supposed to have 3 groups come in on Tuesday and Wednesday. So one on Tuesday, one on Wednesday, and the group that we had coming in on Tuesday was a bigger group, like 70 people in that group, and half of their flights got canceled because of a strike going on, and that ripple effect through Europe, and so their flight ultimately got canceled because of that, and so they had to come in the next day on a super late flight. So instead of 4 groups coming in, well, 3 groups coming in, one on one day and 2 on the other day, we had 4 groups coming in. So one on one day and 3 on the next day. So that was a little bit challenging to kind of figure out and do. But it made Tuesday a really easy day. We got to hang out with them. We got to eat at the dining hall, which, I don't miss college campus food by any means. It was all right the first day, and I'm kind of already sick of it. So this is why I kind of splurged the $32 to eat like this quote unquote TexMex store, but there's not a Mexican in there. A lot of these food establishments in the area are either like Asian or Indian, so it's pretty interesting to see their spin on Tex-Mex. So before I get into the stories too crazy, I'm going to test the chicken dumpling, and I will let you know how I feel about it. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them with, it's like a little bit of lettuce. So as you can see, I also got this salsa, but I think that's for my tacos. And it's just like salsa that you get with chips. So, all right, are these crunchy? kind of crunchy. Also, if you hear beeping, that is a fire alarm that has been beeping since I got here. So it's been beeping for like a week straight. So I'm sorry that you're hearing this currently, but I've been hearing it for the entire time I've been here. So don't judge me. Not too bad. Aha. I thought they didn't include the sauce. I was like, yo, it's kind of all right to mediocre without the sauce. So I'm just gonna drop that on there. Usually I would dip it in the sauce, but this is not dippable size to do so. So I just dumped it like a madman. I'm gonna taste one with the sauce, and I will let you know how I feel about this. Real talk, I think that sauce makes everything taste good. Because I just ate some lettuce. For the audio listeners, if you're watching this on video, that was awesome. That tasted really good with the sauce, the lettuce. And lettuce doesn't really taste like anything. So the fact that like it's a different kind of taste for it, I don't know. That's weird. Lettuce is a weird thing. But I'm gonna eat another one and then I'll continue on with my story. Let's talk about my method of madness when it comes to money. Since I am in school, I get a lot of leftover financial aid, so that helps subsidize income a lot more than you would think. So because I feel like I am in school, I am able to like not work for like 7 months and just pay my bills as they arise, until I eventually start running out of money, and I'm like, all right, time to look for a job and then get a job. So I don't advise you to live that way. I don't think that's responsible. But for me, for what I want to accomplish with Idle Talk and other things, I think that makes the most sense. Is boom, 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 boom. I've given you like 50 posts a week on Instagram for a long time now, and now it'll slow down, and I'll post like once a day probably, before it picks back up. And it's not, and I don't want that to reflect like it's not interesting, right? The things that I'm posting aren't interesting, and that way, and that's why I'm not posting it. I feel like everything that we talk about on the show with people, without people, with just each other, is important and is funny and is serious and is, all over the place. So it is entertaining to me, no matter which way I cut it, which way I edit it. If it's both POVs, one POV, switching back and forth, it's all super important to me. And so all the content that I do put out, I'm very proud of. And I think eventually, I'm gonna find someone out there, and train them. I'm like, this is how I like to do clips on Idle Talk, and then eventually get someone else to do the clips, because that is very time consuming, and that is also something that I've noticed too, where I can't really necessarily sneak in some time to edit some clips because I am tired mentally. Some days tired physically, because part of this experience for these international students is that they get to explore New York City, and somebody has to take them there, and that somebody is usually members of my team, but I have to do that too. And not only do I have to do everything that involves their experience on campus, like activity-wise, but also that activity of going out into the city. So that's pretty. I can't even speak anymore. I've blah, 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 blah. I've come across this issue where, because these kids don't really speak that much English, varying sliding scale, that my English has reverted to like a basic level of English, and I catch myself speaking like that to people who live in America, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm just used to communicating with children who aren't so good at this. So apologies if I mess up my words. As I was saying, so I have to plan these trips, take them out, handle everything, and that's been the hardest part, I think, for me, because I am from New York, but again, I am not a city boy. I live in Yonkers. Okay, people think that's upstate. That's how unknown that place is. Tyler, the Creator, didn't really put us on the map like I thought he did. So it's a good song. I like that song. But before I wrap up this mini of catching you up, tasting this food, I'm gonna get into the tacos. I think these are the tacos, or these are the tacos. Nah, this is a taco. When I opened the box to see what it was, it didn't really look that good. I won't lie to you. So these are steak tacos, and I think this is where the Tex-Mex portion comes in. So I'm going to take a bite out of this first one. Soft shell tacos, by the way, flour, not corn. Also, you're already gonna lose like 4 points from me on this. So this has to be a perfect taco for it to even get a 6. So let's keep that in mind. Without salsa. The main issue with steak tacos is that when you chop it up and you leave it, overcooking or marinating too long, it becomes chewy, like some sort of meat gum. And I think this is what this taco is running into. So I'm going to taste this individually, again, without the salsa first, for my audio listeners. It's just a simple little piece of the steak, and I'm going to give you my honest review. Wasn't too bad individually, I won't lie to you. It's a lot more manageable, but when you're taking a bite, like as you would in a taco, then it becomes an issue where it feels like I'm chewing meat flavored gum. So I think my initial response is that this taco, because it's a soft shell taco, not even soft shell, but like flour over corn. Are you serious? But I'm gonna give this taco a 3 out of 10 because it lost 4 points because it's a flour tortilla. Now I'm gonna try with the salsa for my audio listeners. Oh my god, I almost died on that last swallow. Okay, before my near-death experience just now, because I don't know where that piece came from. This is pretty good. I like it with the salsa a lot more. Um, I'll definitely give it a 5 out of 10. This with the salsa is a lot more pleasant experience. I think that was just human error that I almost killed myself just now. For my audio listeners out there, that crunch you just heard was the paper bag that I'm using as a napkin. Because I left the napkins all over there, and I've already started recording. So let's move on. What have I learned so far with this new job and experience? It is a bit challenging working with a team that I did not assemble. Look over my shoulders in case they're listening. But overall, it's been a pleasant experience working with these kids. A lot of young kids are here too. This program I think is like from like 16 to 18-year-olds. Sometimes they're a little bit older, but we have a specific group that is here. It's got a lot of 12 and 14-year-olds and even younger. So it's pretty crazy to see that they're like involved in a program like this to learn more English and to experience New York in the way that we are. So that's been one of the most rewarding experiences, I'll say. Now it's time for the main entree. The rice, beans, chicken that I ordered. It's the heaviest box so far. Oh, snap, that looks pretty good. I thought they were gonna give me like a single piece of chicken, instead of these chopped up little bits, but let's test the chicken first. This was very fajita style chicken, so not too bad. I would give this like a 7. It's not the best, not the worst. Could be better. Let me try again. The seasoning is simple. It's not too crazy. It's not dancing around on my tongue, but it's not bad. It is seasoned. So I'll give you props for that. So I'll keep you at a 7 out of 10. Let's try this rice. It's yellow rice. I think it gave me all forks, not even a single spoon. So we're just gonna try and taste this. 1 scoopful. That tastes like nothing. That rice tastes like nothing whatsoever. Let's give some beans a try. Just what I thought. It tastes like nothing. I like cooking my beans in onions. I like to saute the onions first, like get the pan nice and like hot and oniony, and then I throw the beans in just to give a little bit more flavor. That's what I personally do. So these beans aren't too bad. Rice and beans, rate them together like 4 out of 10. But for the overall dish, again, we gave it a 7. So an 11 out of 20, that's pretty okay. That's a little bit over half. I mean, lettuce and tomato and sour cream, you know what those taste like. I don't need to give you a rating on that. Would I go here again? Probably not. Only, that was funny, only for the chicken dumplings. I think I had the best experience with the chicken dumplings. If I was really hungry and this place was open, I'd probably get like 2 orders of chicken dumplings. But that has been today's Idle Talk Mini. And I'll see you next week. Hopefully, we'll figure something out. I might not see Fabian for a bit, but I think if we could get through July and August with the episodes that we've got now, I think we'll be in a good spot. So, see you next time. Bye-bye. Actually, I've changed my mind. I'm dropping this mini after the mini that's coming out this week. So I will not have spoiled it, but I would have told you what actually happened. So it's not a spoiler. I changed my mind. See you next time. Bye-bye. See ya.